Hare Krishna. I welcome all to our Bhagavad Gita class. We are on chapter 14, and the objective of this class is to enable reading of the shlok, to understand the basic meaning of the shlok, and to help understand the basic philosophy of Gita. So, chapter 14 is called The Three Modes of Material Nature. And this particular chapter is divided into three sections. Section from Shlok number 1 to 13, it talks about the conditioning of the soul by material modes. And then from 14 to 18, it talks about the effect of conditioning by the modes. And 19 to 27, Krishna talks about how we can transcend these modes. And then we will end the chapter with glories of from Padma Puran, right? Now, we are on section 1 now, from Shlok number 1 to 13. Let us summarize what we have learned in chapter 14 till now, right? So in the first two shlok of chapter 14, Krishna glorifies the knowledge that he is going to speak in this chapter. He starts talking about the importance and the how great the knowledge that he is going to share with all of us. And he says that shlok is idam gyanan upashritya mama sadharmya magatah sarge api nopajayante prale na vyathanti cha. Right? So here Krishna says idam gyanam upashritya. By knowledge, by gaining knowledge about this gyan, this gyan, what he has spoken, upashritya means taken shelter of. So those people, those sages who have taken shelter of this gyan that I'm going to speak about, what happens to them? Mama sa dharma magata. They get the same dharma as me. It becomes they come to me. They come to me and they become the same quality as me. Sadharmyam. Sadharmyam is they have the same quality, they have the same quality as me. And we talked about how a drop of ocean has the same quality, right, as the complete ocean, right? So when we talked about Sadharmyam, the qualitatively they will become same as Krishna, but quantitatively it is like no comparison. He is infinite and we are infinitesimal small. So he says that, what happened to those people, those sages who have understood this knowledge? They have sarge apina pajayante. When the creation happens, they do not take birth. And pralay na within the child, when the destruction happens, pralay happens, then they don't get distressed. It means they are beyond the creation and destruction, right? So that is the state of the soul who has been able to understand this knowledge and transcend this knowledge. Means after understanding, they have transcended this knowledge. They have actually gone beyond this knowledge, and that is why he says it's very, very important to understand this knowledge. Now, so we learned in the last chapter. Now, what is this knowledge? So we learned in this last chapter about Gyan. And Krishna says, what is Gyan is knowledge. So what is knowledge? He has explained in the last chapter. He says, knowledge is understanding about body, soul, and super soul. And when we understand these three things and we understand the relation, that is what he has called as knowledge. He doesn't qualify the material knowledge as we talked about, the MBBS degree or the different degrees that we get in the universities here. And why does he say so that the knowledge about body, soul and super soul is the highest knowledge? He talks about that because by knowing that, we can actually transcend this cycle of birth and death. That is why that is the most important knowledge. Unlike the knowledge that we learn in our universities, it actually keeps us bound in this material world. It doesn't have the capability of freeing us from this material world. And that is why Krishna called Gyan, the real knowledge is to know about the body, soul and super soul and realize about it, right? Now, we also learned in the last chapter that the body is made up of 24 elements, which is a part of material nature. Material nature is Prakriti, right? So, it's important. And also we learned in the last chapter about the real distress that we all are facing, which is Janam Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. He says the real distress is birth, death, old age, and disease. And if and because we take birth, that's why we have this death, we have this old age, and we have disease. So if we can transcend this, if we can come out of this cycle of birth and death, then we'll be free, we'll be liberated, right? So Krishna says that is a real problem that is being faced by all of us. Many people have realized it, many people don't even know. We continue to enjoy our life even without thinking about all these three problems, the four problems that we have. So Krishna says that the real knowledge when he talk about is how we can transcend this cycle of birth and death. And then the real knowledge about body, soul, and super soul. So basically body is made up of elements which is from Prakriti. So he says Prakriti, it's very important to understand about Prakriti, because it is Prakriti which actually binds us. It is actually Prakriti which binds us. So as soon as how it binds us, that is what he's going to talk about. And before that, in the fourth slok, Krishna explains that the Lord impregnates the Prakriti. The Lord impregnates the Prakriti. He says, Sarvayoneshu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavanti Yah Tasam Brahma Mahadionir Aham Bija Prada Pita. Krishna says that Aham Bija Prada Pita. I am the seed giving father. And where I am Mahad Yonir. Mahad Yonir is basically the yoni of the material nature. In this material nature, so Krishna impregnates the material Prakriti, and when Krishna impregnates the Prakriti, then a material world gets formed. And when this material world gets formed, the living entity who wants to enjoy away from Krishna, like all of us, are sent to this material world. And this material world is temporary. And where does Krishna say? Krishna is in the spiritual world. Krishna is in the spiritual world, which is beyond these three worlds. Now, as soon as the living entity comes in contact with Prakriti, as soon as the living entity comes in contact with Prakriti, yeah, and that is in the material world, it becomes conditioned. It becomes conditioned. Why? What is the meaning of condition? It becomes conditioned. It doesn't remain pure anymore. It doesn't remain pure anymore, because what is soul? Soul is a part and parcel of Krishna, right? Soul is a part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna will explain in the 15th chapter, Mamaivansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, that each and every soul is nothing but a part and parcel of me. So it's supposed to be pure. But then when the soul gets in contact with Prakriti, it gets conditioned. And it gets conditioned by what? By the three modes of material nature. So material nature has got three gunas. They has got three qualities, three good. And what are the three good? It is the mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So these are the three gunas, which is a part of the material nature. And each of us are bound by these gunas. And unless we transcend these three gunas, we cannot go back to the spiritual world. We cannot we cannot break the cycle of birth and death. So unless we transcend these three modes, that is why it is very important to, and Krishna has spoken one full chapter about this Prakriti and the modes of material nature, because it is very important for us to understand how the soul is bound by these three modes. How the soul is bound by these three modes, because once we have the knowledge, then we can also know how we can disentangle ourselves, how we can free ourselves from these modes, right? So first we have to have the knowledge. Only when we have a knowledge, then only we can free ourselves from the three modes. And then Krishna, something to understand that we see in this material nature, in this entire universe, we see different colors, beautiful colors. Any color has got so many shades, right? But if you think about it, all of these comes from three primary colors: red, yellow, blue. They are the three primary colors. And the different colors that we have in this universe is actually a combination of these three colors in different percentage, right? As soon as we in different percentage, we start getting different colors. Similarly, these three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are the main cause. But then if you look in the universe, if you look at the species that we have, everyone is different. no two people are identical, right? In a same family, even sisters, brothers, they have a different nature, right? They are not identical to each other. Why? It is because these three modes which acts upon them is in different combination, and it all depends upon our karma, our association, our lot of things that influences it, right? But it is also our past karmas on which we are carrying with us, right? So Krishna says that it is just like, and guna also means, the guna, there's another meaning of guna which means chain. Guna also means chain. So it means chain. So similarly, these three is also said that someone who is in a mode of ignorance is bound by a chain which is made up of iron. Someone which is in a mode of passion is bound by a chain which is made up of silver. And someone which is in a mode of goodness is bound by a chain which is made up of gold. But even the person who is in mode of goodness is also bound, and that's why they are, will take a repeated birth and death, will take a repeated birth and death. So it is very, very important for us to understand this. And later in the last section, Krishna will explain, which will be in the next class, how we can transcend these three modes and become free from these three modes, right? So now let us go to the what we read in the last class. We started talking about the three modes, and the three modes, it's a sattvam. It says, Tatra, the sixth shlok said, Tatra sattvam nirmalatvata prakashakam anamayam sukha sangena badhanati jnana sangena chanaga. So Krishna said in the sixth shlok that what the mode of goodness, which is sattvam, the mode of goodness, what are the qualities of that? It is nirmala, it is nirmal. Nirmal means it is pure. It is pure. What do we mean by pure? We mean by pure is, we can compare it with a mirror. Yeah. Now, what happens in a mirror? If there are layers of dust, can we see ourselves clearly? No. If there are layers of dust, we cannot see ourselves clearly, right? Similar, but so unless we clean the dirt on the mirror, we cannot see ourselves. Similarly, our soul are bound by what? It is bound by greed, anger, lust, attachment, ego. All these evils are binding our soul. But when someone is in the mode of goodness, it is actually pure. It means it is not influenced by all these modes. It is free from these modes. So it has become pure. It is nirmal, without dirt. It is pure. Understood? So the soul of that person is sattvam, is pure. Then it says prakashakam. Prakashakam means illuminated. How is it is illuminated? It is illuminated. Prakash means gyan, knowledge. It means the person in the mode of goodness has the knowledge that I am not this body, I am the soul. He is illuminated. The person has the knowledge that body and soul, and also has a capability of distinguishing between right and wrong. So the person has the knowledge as what is right, what should be done, and what should not be done. So it has the knowledge. And then it says anamayam. Anamaya means it's free of sinful activities. It is free of sins. Why do we get dukh? We get dukh because of our sins, because of our past sins, or even in present. Why do we have this? It's because the sins that we have done, we have to suffer, right? But then it says anamaya means it is free of sins. So when it is free of sins, so what will the person experience? The person will experience sukh, because it is free of sin. When you are free of sin, what will you experience? Sukh. So the person in the mode of goodness is what is experiencing? Sukh and jnana. Sukh sangena badhanati, jnana sangena chanagha. So the person is experiencing sukh and jnana. The people feel very happy. Such person who are in mode of goodness will feel very happy and will be knowledgeable. They will be doing the right things in the right way. Everything will be perfectly. They'll be doing it as per the scriptures, as it should be done, right? So that is the quality of the person in the mode of goodness. So even if they are doing so, but this same sukh and gyan, what they have got, is the reason for them getting bound by in this material world. The sukh and gyan that they have got is the cause of their bondage also in this material world. Why? Because of the sukh that they have, they feel, what is the need? I'm very happy the way we are. Yeah, and then the gyan becomes proud of the knowledge that they have got. And once we are proud of our knowledge, what will happen? It leads to downfall. So it leads to bondage, and we remain in this material world, right? Then in the seventh shlok, Krishna talked about the rajo ragatmakam vidhi Krishna sangam samudbhavam tannimadnati konteya karma sangena dehinam. So Krishna explains about the person who is in a mode of goodness, rajo ragatmakam vidhi. That what is seen in that? Extremely attachment with people, attachment family members, attachment with material things, lot of attachment with everything is seen. So such people who are in the mode of goodness, they are characterized by lot of attachment to material things, to people, to family, to property. All those things are seen in that person. And then Krishna Sangan Samudbhavan. And they have such people, the more people in mode of goodness have extreme desire. Like it is lots of desires and longings. So because of high desires and longing, what will happen? Tan badnati konteya karma sangena dehinam. Their body, what they do to satisfy the desire that they have, what do? They keep on doing lot of work karma sangena. They are completely busy in doing fruitive activities. Karma is not bad. We all of us have to do karma, but the karma should be without any expectation. But such people in the mode of passion, they are bound by karma sangen, means it is bound by fruitive activity with the expectation that, okay, I'll do work, I'll get a lot of money, I'll get a lot of happiness, and then so that is becomes their binding factor. That becomes their binding factor in this material world, right? And then it talks about shlok 8 talked about the mode of ignorance. Tamasva jnana jam vidhi mohanam sarvdehinam pramada alasya nidrabhis tannibadnati bharata. And who are in the mode of ignorance? They are why they are in the mode of ignorance? Because of agyan. Agyan means the knowledge. They don't have the, it's exactly to the sattva, as to the sattvam, exactly opposite to that. So basically they are agyan. They don't know. They are like, and how are they characterized by pramad? Pramad is madness. Madness means they are not able to differentiate between right and wrong. Right? They are not able to differentiate between right and wrong. Alasya, you will see how we will see them. Lot laziness. They don't want to do any work. They are always dejected. They are always distressed. Small work you tell them, they become very panicky. How to do, what to do, they don't know how to do it. And then they become they extremely anger, extreme lust. So they don't know what is right and wrong. That is a behavior that is seen in the mode of ignorance. And sleeping, nidrabhi means sleeping late hours. So all these are the behavior that we see in the mode of ignorance, right? So this is what we covered last time. And the ninth stroke that we covered is Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajah karmani bharata jnanam avrityatu tama pramade sanjayutyata. Sanjayatyuta. Krishna says that the sattvam sukhe sanjayati. Sattvam, the people who are in the mode of goodness are bound by happiness. And rajah karmani, rajah karmani bharata. And bharat is who Arjun, those who are in passion are actually conditioned by fruitive action. And those who are in tama, they are actually bound, they are covered, their knowledge is covered by ignorance, and they are bind to madness. So that is what we learned in the last class. We also went to 17th chapter, and we also saw in the 17th chapter we saw that many things in our, what that we do, we can actually divide it into three categories: sattva, rajas, and tamas. And then we started with object of worship. Now the object of worship, when we do, as per the shlok that we read in Sanskrit, it says when we are doing a devta worship, it is in the mode of sattva. When we are doing a worship of powerful men, it is in raja. And when we are ghosts and spirits, those in a mode of ignorance, they we worship ghosts and spirits. Even the food that we eat can be categorized into multiple, into these three categories. So fresh fruits, vegetables, grains, they are in the mode of goodness. Spicy food is in the mode of passion. And meat, liquor, they are in the mode of ignorance. The yajna that we do can also be categorized in the three modes. The yajna, when we do a yajna with no expectation of result as a matter of duty and as per the scriptures, then it is in the mode of goodness. But when we do the yajna with expectation of result, to enjoy the result of that and for sake of pride, then it is in the mode of passion. And then the yajna that we do without following the scriptures, without chanting Vedic hymns, without offering prasad, and without giving dakshina to the priest, it is supposed to be in the mode of ignorance. The austerity, the tap that we do is also into the three modes. When we do the austerity, when we are doing the tapasya, and for that, not for fruitive results, we do the tapasya as a part of our duty and for the sake of supreme and the good for all, then it is in the mode of goodness. But when we do the tapasya for which is performed to gain pride, so that I'm doing this tapasya, so that everyone should say, wow, this person is doing such a tough penance, then that is for gaining respect and pride, and that is the mode of passion. And something which is performed foolishly by torturing themselves, and that is for destroying or harming the other people, that is in the mode of ignorance. Even the charity, the daan that we give, is also characterized into three modes. The charity, when we do without expectation of results and at a proper place, proper time, to a proper person, right? Then it is in the mode of goodness. But the daan that we do with expectation of result, I am giving this, so I should get this back to me. Then so this is expectation of result. Desirable fruitive activities and in grudging mood. Oh, I have to give so much in this, whether I should really give. I have, but I'm not ready to give. That is in the passion mode. And someone, when we are giving the daan to an impure person, impure place, which is not worthy of it, and without giving in a proper respect and attention, that is in the mode of tama. Yeah. Then even the place we stay is characterized into various modes. That is, the forest or villages, they are in the mode of goodness. Cities in the mode of passion. And then bar so such places are in the mode of ignorance. The time of the day is also characterized into these three times. The early morning, that early morning that we have, that is the mode of goodness. The daytime is passion, because we all are running to do work, and night is tamas. Right? So this is all we read, which was reference from chapter number 17 of Bhagavad Gita. So today we'll start with shlok number 10. Yeah. Rajastamascha Sattvam bhavati bharata. Rajah sattvam tamaschaiva. Tamah sattvam rajastatha. Rajastamascha bhibhuya. Sattvam bhavati bharatah. Rajah sattvam tamaschaiva. Tamah sattvam rajastatha. Rajastamascha bhibhuya. Sattvam bhavati bharatah. Rajah sattvam tamaschaiva. Tamah sattvam rajastatha. So here Krishna says that Raja is passion, Tama is ignorance, and Cha Abhibhuya. Abhibhuya means suppresses. Suppresses is it is basically, it gets suppressed. Sattvam is goodness. Bhavati Bharata. O Bharat, O Arjun, what happened? Sometimes for all of us, no one is purely in the mode of sattvam, no one is purely in the mode of raja, no one is purely in the mode of tamas. Everyone has a different degree of that in themselves. No one can be in pure sattvam, pure passion, or pure ignorance. So Krishna says, sometimes the mode of goodness dominates what? Raja and Tama, the passion and ignorance. Raja tamascha bhibhuya, that gets suppressed by Sattvam. So at that point of time, when Sattvam is dominating, the person is in the mode of goodness, right? Raja Sattvam Tamaseva. And sometimes what happens? Passion dominates Sattvam and Tama. Passion, that is, which is goodness and ignorance. And Tama Sattvam Rajasa. Sattvam, sometimes ignorance dominates Sattvam and Raja. Right? So this is what Krishna says. So let us read the English translation. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharat, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always a competition for supremacy. Right? So this is what Krishna explains here, that sometimes what happens? Sattvam, the goodness is dominating. So what is the sign of goodness? Goodness we talked about the purity of soul. Then we talked about prakashakam and anamayam, no sinful. These are the qualities, right? So when sometimes these qualities dominate, and then what will happen? The other one, greed, anger, lust, all those things get dominated by the sattvam quality, and ignorance, right? Similarly, it changes. We go to the next slok. सर्वद्वारेषु देहे अस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यात् विविधं सत्वम् इत्युत सर्वद्वारेषु देहे अस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यात् विविधं सत्वम् इत्युत सर्वद्वारेषु देहे अस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यात् vividham satyam ityuta. So Krishna explains now in the last section, last stroke, he talks about that sattvam dominates the raja and tama. That is, sattvam is dominating the passion and ignorance. So in that case, what happens? When sattvam, when the mode of goodness is dominating the passion and ignorance, then what happens? Sarvadwareshu dehe asmin. Sarvadwar, our gate. Sarvadwar of what? Dwar means gates. Dwar means gates. Sarva means all. All gates. All gates of whom? Dehe, of this body. And how many gates do we have in this body? We have got 9 gates. We have got 9 gates in this body. And which are those? Our 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth. How many are there? 2, 4, 6, 7, and then our genitals and anus. So these are the 9 gates that we have in our body. So Sarvadwareshu means in all the 9 gates, Dehe Asmin, of this body, what happens? Prakasha Upajayate. Prakash means Gyan. It becomes knowledgeable. When you say it becomes Prakasha Upajayate, means it gets illuminated. It means all these sense organs that we have, they have the clarity of what is right, what is wrong, and what needs to be done to continue in the mode of sattvam. The mode of sattva, how we can actually, we have gyan. We have gyan means that, it is we are the body, soul, and so they have the knowledge. Now it's illuminated, it means they have a very clear knowledge about do's and don'ts and more. So how do you see them? They are very peaceful. Such them, because we are controlled, it is a sense control is there. So such people are very peaceful, and they are more inclined towards spiritual activity. And they will be, any major problem happens, they have the capability to handle it, absorb it. right? That is the characteristics we see in such people. So sarvadareshu dehe asmin prakasha upajayate. All the 9 gates are illuminated. So a very clarity on, so their senses are controlled. Jnanam yada tada vidyat. So when they have gyan, yada jnana, matlab when there is knowledge, then this happens. All the gates becomes have the knowledge. Tada vidyat vividham satyam udyate. And what happens? The mode of goodness it increases. So let's read the translation. The manifestation of the mode of goodness.
The manifestation of the mode of goodness
Can be experienced.
Can be experienced
When all the gates of the body.
When all the gates of the body
Are illuminated by knowledge.
Are illuminated by knowledge.
So there's a very clear discriminatory power and determination to continue in the right mode is seen in this particular mode, right? We go to the next shlok number 12. Lobha pravrittirarambha karmanam ashamah spriha rajasyetani jayante vividhe bhatarshava. Lobha pravrittirarambha karmanam ashamah spriha rajasyetani jayante vividhe bhatarshava. So when rajas yetani jayante, when the mode of passion jayante increases, vridhe, when it gets it is there and it is increasing, then what are the qualities we see? Lobha is greed, excessive greed. Yeah, although you have enough, but still you want more. I want more, I want more. And when you want more, then what will happen? You will work extremely hard to satisfy those things. So what first thing is lobha, pravritti of getting more than you need, right? That is what will be seen. Then pravritti Ram is, because of that, pravritti is fruitive activity. Because of this greed, pravritti is to do lot of activity, work, so that you can get more happiness, more wealth, and more, with that thought, you do lot of fruitive activity, right? You do lot of, once does lot of fruitive activity. That is pravritti. Pravritti arambha karmanam. Arambha is starting of, karmanam means one gets involved in starting lot of new things, or a lot of different activity, so that more can be achieved. More wealth can be granted, more everything is, so that we can get more. Dil mange more is what can be classified. And then ashrama spriha. Ashrama means uncontrollable. Spriya is desire. So what will happen? The mode of passion is recognized by what? The uncontrollable desires. There are a lot of desires. So you earn wealth and you get into sense enjoyment. You want all your senses to be enjoyed. You're never satisfied. You all want more. I want more. If suppose I want to travel, I've traveled this, I want to travel more. There's no satisfaction. There's no satisfaction. Because of that, you always want to earn more. So what will happen? It is always like working like a donkey. Yeah, working like a donkey, so that we can get more money, more wealth, and no time for spiritual activity, right? Always short of time when it comes to spiritual activity, right? So let us read the Mataji, you read this one, right? Yeah, you read. Lobha pravritir arambha karmanam ashamaspriha rajasyetani jayante vividhe bharatarshava. Let us now read the English translation. O chief of the Bharat, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, uncontrollable desire, and hankering develop. Right? Clear? Yeah. Then we go to the next one, 13th. Aprakasho apravrittischa
Asho pravritya.
Pramado moha evacha.
Evacha.
Tamasyetani jayante.
Tamasitani jayante.
Vividhe kuru nandana.
Vividhe Purnandana.
Aprakasho apravrittischa.
Aprakasho pravritya.
Pramado moha evacha.
Evacha.
Tamasyetani jayante.
Tamasitani jayante.
Vividhe kuru nandana.
Vividhe Purnandana.
Mataji. Aprakasho apravrittischa. Pramado moha evacha. Tamasyetani jayante. Vividhe kuru nandana. So here Krishna says aprakasho. So remember when we talked about sattvam, we talked about prakasha. Prakasha anamayam, right? Prakasha is gyan. But what happens in the mode of ignorance? Aprakasho. It is agyan. No illumination, right? Gyan of what? Gyan of right and wrong. But in this case, no clarity of what is right and what is wrong, right? Apravrittischa. When we talked about passion, we talked about pravritti. Pravritti, we talked about lot of fruitive activity, intense fruitive activity to get more money, more wealth, anything to enjoy. So now here what will happen? Apravritti, laziness. I don't want to work. I want everything, but I don't want to work. Laziness. So it is opposite of sattvam, aprakasho, opposite of passion, apravrittischa, pramado. Pramado is madness. When one person does not have the distinction of right and wrong, what will happen? The behavior will be of madness. It means getting into extreme sense enjoyment without realizing what is right, what is wrong. So the behavior is a lot of lust, anger, yeah, all these are the pramado, doing all things which is not right. Yeah. Then moha, extreme attachment. Yeah. Evacha. Tamasyetani jayante. And when in case of so when this all these things get developed, tama in case of tama, these all these things is developed and increases. Kuru Nandana. Kuru Nandana is Arjun, son of Kurus, right? When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance,
There is an increase in the mode of ignorance.
O son of Kuru,
O son of Guru.
darkness,
Darkness,
inertia,
inertia,
madness,
madness,
and illusion are manifested.
illusion are manifested.
Yeah. So intelligence is lost. So in the capability to differentiate
Between right and
right is not there. Right. So this is what is seen in case of when the mode of ignorance is dominating. Right. So by this we finish the first first section of chapter 14, and we move to the second section, which is effect of conditioning by modes. So all these were what we read was till now was the behavior that as when we are born, when we get into this, when we get conditioned, the living entity get conditioned when it enters into the material world, and the conditioning are of these three types, and these because of these three types the different behaviors we talked about can be seen. And we also said that different at different time a living entity can be dominated by different modes. Sometimes mode of goodness is dominating, sometimes mode of passion is dominating, sometimes mode of ignorance is dominating. It all depends upon how what is dominating and what are we trying to determined to grow. It depends. So our life can be determined by what is dominating and by what means we are trying to grow that particular part, right? So our association is one of the most important thing which impacts what will grow, right? If we are in a association of devotees, in a good association, then the mode of goodness will flourish. When we are in the mode of dil mange more with more materialistic association, then automatically we will be will be demanding, will be actually going crazy for we have one car, we want two cars, I have Mercedes, I want Porsche, I want that, I have one house, I want two houses, I want five palatial house. All these things will happen also because of your environment and your association in which we are in there and the desires, right? and similarly the mode of ignorance, right? Now what will happen, what is the effect if a person is in that mode, is what we are going to read in the next 4 shloks. 14.14, 14.14. Yada satve pravriddhe tu
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु
pralayam yati dehabhrit
प्रलयं याति देहभृत्
तदोत्तम vidam lokanam
तदोत्तामविदां
lokan rather तदोत्तम vidam lokan
तदोत्तान्
amalan pratipadyate
अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
यदा सत्वे प्रवृद्धे तु
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु
प्रलयं याति देहभृत्
प्रलयं याति देहभृत्
तदोत्तम विदाम लोकान
तदोत्तमविदां लोकान्
अमलान प्रतिपद्यते
अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
माताजी
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु
यदा सत्वे प्रवृद्धे तु
प्रलयं याति देहभृत्
प्रलयं याति देहभृत्
तदोत्तमविदां लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
अमलान प्रतिपद्यते. Yeah, so Krishna says yada satve pravriddhe tu. Now yada, when satve pravriddhe, satvam, the mode of goodness, is dominating. Sorry. Yada satve pravriddhe tu, when the mode of dominating, to pralayam yati. Pralayam yati, when a person dies. Pralayam yati is the person dies, dehabhrit, leaves the body, right? Tadottam vidam lokan. Then what happens? Tad uttam vidam lokan. Then in that lok, which is uttam vidam, which is inhabited by great sages and great rishis and sages, amalan pratipadyate. Then what happens? The soul actually goes to that lok. Okay, so let us read the English translation. When one dies in the mode of goodness,
When one dies in the mode of goodness,
he attains to the pure higher planets
he attains to the pure higher planets
of great sages.
of the great sages.
Yeah. Now, let us go back to our, what we talked about, the material world, how the material was created. Then we talked about Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Then we talked about from the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, the lotus stem that comes. And in that lotus stem, we have all the 14 planets, lok. All the 14 loks are there. And in which lok we are? We are in the Bhulok. We are in the earth. We are on the earth, which is called which is the middle, right? Bhulok. Now, after Bhu, there are 6 lok above Bhu, and there are 7 below Bhu, right? Now, the 6 above Bhu is Bhuva, Swa, Mahar, Jana, Tapa, Satya. And the Satya is the topmost lok, which is Satya lok, is same as Brahma lok, where Brahmaji is situated. Brahma lok is the place where Brahmaji is situated, right? So, Swa is Swarg lok. Swarg lok is from Bhu, which is the earth. After that is Bhuva, then Swa. The third from here is Swarg lok. And above Swarg lok, so Swarg lok is where all the Devi Devtas are there, and Indra is the king of that, chief of that Swarg lok. And then we have Mahar, Jana, Tapa, and Satya. So all the great rishis who do lot of tapasyas and what in the second stroke, what we started today, the class, that Krishna said, those who have understood this, what happens to them? They get transcendent, right? They get so basically, in that all rishis are in that particular mode. We have to remember that even Brahma lok is also a part of this material world. And we also learned at that point of time that the life of this material world that Krishna creates is equivalent to 100 days of Brahma. And after 100 days of Brahma is finished, this material world actually gets destroyed. It gets dissolved, right? That's the cycle that we have read earlier, right? So here what happens? So the soul actually, when the person is in the mode of Sattvam and has led the life in the mode of Sattvam always and is dominating that and dies, then it goes to the planets above Swarga. It is basically goes to the planets where the sages are residing. But remember, it is still in the material world. It is not free from the cycle of birth and death. But what we want to know, what Krishna says, we have to transcend these modes. We have to transcend this mode so that we are out of this material world and go to spiritual world, to him. And that's what he will tell in the next class. He will be learning about how we can transcend these modes. Yeah. We go to the next slok, 15th. Rajasi pralayam gatva
Rajasi pralayam gatva
कर्म संगेषु जायते
कर्मसङ्गेषु जायते
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि
तदा प्रलीनस्तमसि
मूढयोनिषु जायते
मूढयोनिषु जायते
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा
कर्म संगेषु जायते
कर्मसङ्गेषु जायते
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि
मूढयोनिषु जायते
मूढयोनिषु जायते
माताजी
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्म संगेषु जायते तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते. So here Krishna explains about both the people who are in the mode of passion as well as ignorance. So the first line is for passion. Rajasi pralayam gatva. Someone who is in the mode of passion, pralayam gatva means leaves his body. Karma sangeshu jayate is born. Where does it jayate? Where does it the person born? Is born in the place where karma sangeshu, lot of work, lot of fruitive activities happening, which is basically the earth. It comes back to the earth planet. So we are bound by the not only birth and death, it comes back to the planet of earth. Yeah. And tatha pralinas tamasi. But the tamasi, the person who is in the mode of ignorance, mudhya nishayate, will be born in the animal kingdom. Will be born in the animal kingdom basically. So we talked about the lower planets, which is below the earth, which is Atila, Vitila, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patal lok. They are the various lok which is below the earth. And someone who's in a mode of ignorance will actually take birth in the animal kingdom, lower Patal. So let us read the translation. When one dies in the mode of passion,
when one dies in the mode of passion,
he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities.
Takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activity.
And when one dies in the mode of ignorance,
And when one dies in the mode of ignorance,
he takes birth in the animal kingdom.
he takes birth in the animal.
Right? So now we go to the next slok, 15th, 16th. Yeah. Karmana sukritasyahu
Karmana shukritasyahu
satvikam nirmalam phalam
sadvikam nirmalam phalam
rajastu phalam dukkham
rajasastu phalam dukkam
ajnanam tamasah phalam
jnanam tamasah phalam
karmana sukritasyahu
karmana sukritasyahu
satvikam nirmalam phalam
sadvikam nirmalam phalam
rajastu phalam dukkham
rajastu phalam dukkam
ajnanam tamasah phalam
jnanam tamasah phalam karmana sukritasyahu
karmana sukritasyahu
Satvikam nirmalam phalam
satvikam nirmalam phalam
rajastu phalam dukkam ajnanam tamasah phalam
ajnanam tamasah phalam. Now here Krishna explains karmana. Karmana is the work. Sukrita. Sukrit is good, right? Ahu. Satvikam nirmalam phalam. Now what is the result of the work that is done in that mode, right? So the phalam. So it talks about all the results that each of them will get when they are in that mode. Phalam, what will happen? Karmana sukritasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam. The result of the activity which is done by in the mode of goodness is nirmal. It is pious, and what will happen? It will be pious actions, pure. But rajasastu phalam dukkham. But the result of the activity that is done in the mode of passion is dukh. It is distress. It is distress. And those in the mode of ignorance, tamasa phalam, those in the dharma is agyan, is ignorance, right? And that is why they go to animal kingdom, right? So let us read the English translation. The result of pious action
result of pious action
is pure
is pure
and is said to be in the mode of goodness.
and is said to be in the mode of goodness.
But action done in the mode of passion
Action done in the mode of passion
results in misery,
results in misery,
and action performed in the mode of ignorance
and action performed in the mode of ignorance
results in foolishness.
results in foolishness.
Now, a very important things to be noticed here, and also to for us to learn, always remember that karma, the work that is done is not of any mode. Karma is karma, work is work, but the consciousness of the person who is doing the work determines the result, right? So karma is karma, but it is the consciousness of the person. I am doing this work in what consciousness? Accordingly, I'll get bound. Understood? For example, let's take the example of yajna. Now, I am doing yajna with a thought that I don't have any expectation. I am doing this yajna with no expectation for myself, but I am doing this yajna for good for everyone. But still, I will get bound. I will get pious results, but I will get the good results and I will have to be born again to enjoy that sukriti that I have done. Understood? How I get bound? I am doing this activity, so I have my consciousness that I am Sushmita is doing this work with no expectation result, but for the good of others, but I am doing it. So here, because I am connected to I am relating the work, although the work is in the mode of goodness, but I am binding myself with that work. I am binding Sushmita to that work. I am binding myself with that work. So the result that will come will be to me. It'll come to me, and that result will be very sukh. It will be a sukriti. It will be a good work. So I will be born again to enjoy the result of that work. So by that I get bound. Understood? So in what mode I am doing the work, that is going to bind me. Because it is I, the word I that we say is a binding factor. I think I am doing, but actually I am not doing it. It is a karma, it becomes karma. We have read it earlier in the part of karma, that karma, what sort of karma there? The three types of karma. Karma is karma, which is the good work, akarma, and vikarma. Vikarma is bad work. So I get a, pap. I get pap. When I do a karma, I get punya, and I have to take birth to enjoy that karma. When I do vikarma, it is pap, and I'll have to take birth to suffer because of that karma. But what is akarma? Akarma is something which has no reaction, and all of us, and that is what is not binding. Akarma is not binding. It means anything that I am doing, it is not I am not doing. It is Krishna, it is all Krishna is doing, it is for Krishna. That is why the food that we eat, we first give it to Krishna. So it becomes prasad. As soon if I cook the food and eat it, then whatever germs, whatever has died, all the effect will come to me. But once I offer the food to Krishna, it becomes prasad. Then when I consume, then it becomes a karma. It has no reaction. So I don't get reaction. So that's a very, very important concept to free the soul from the body, right? So here in this case, yajna, Sushmita is doing the yajna, so I am getting bound, and I will have to take birth again to enjoy the sukrit, this the sukarma, that the pious activity that I have done, right? Similarly, Raja, now when a person in passion is doing a yajna, he is doing the yajna with expectation of results. So with expectation results, and what happens? Again, it is a good activity done. So a good, and that will again be born to enjoy that, right? Similarly, and we know about ignorance, so he will be suffering. Yeah. So that's a very, very important thing for us to remember. I should not get bound. If I, as soon as I think I am doing, I am getting bound, right? Then 17. Satvat sanjayate jnanam
Sattvat sanjayate jnanam
rajaso lobha eva cha
eva cha
pramada mohau tamaso
tamaso
bhavato jnanam eva cha.
bhavatu
Satvat sanjayate jnanam.
Satvat sanjayate jnanam.
Rajaso lobha eva cha.
Rajaso lobha eva cha.
Pramada mohau tamaso.
Pramada mohau tamaso.
Bhavato ajnanam eva cha.
Jnana eva cha.
Satvat samjayate jnanam. Rajaso lobha eva cha. Pramada mohau tamso. Bhavato ajnanam eva cha. Satvat sanjayate jnanam. So what is the what develops? So from satvat, from the mode of goodness, sanjayate is develops. What does develop? Gyan, knowledge develops. Rajaso, mode of passion, lobh, greed will get developed. Pramad moha tamso, and from tamas pramad madness and attachment. Bhavato ajnanam evacha, and agyan. This is what gets developed by rajaso. Let us read the English translation. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops.
Real knowledge.
From the mode of passion,
Passion.
greed develops.
Greed develops.
And from the mode of ignorance,
From the mode of ignorance,
develop foolishness, madness, and illusion.
develop foolishness, madness, and illusion.
So last slok of today's 18th slok. Urdhavam gachanti satvastha.
Urdhavam gachanti satvastha.
Madhye tishthanti rajasa.
Madhye tishthanti rajasah.
Jaghanya gunvritastha adho.
Jaganya guna
Vritastha. Adho gachanti tamasa.
gachanti tamasah.
Urdhavam gachanti satvastha.
Urdhavam gachanti satvastha.
Madhye tishthanti rajasa.
Madhye tishthanti rajasah.
Jaghanya gun vritistha.
Jaganya guna vritistha.
Adho gachanti tamasa.
Adho gachanti tamasah. Urdhvam gachanti satvastha.
Urdhvam gachanti satvastha.
Madhye tishthanti rajasah.
Madhye tishthanti rajasa.
Jaganya guna vritistha.
Jaghanya gun vritistha.
Adho gachanti tamasah.
Adho gachanti tamasa. Now Krishna says, Urdhvam gachanti satvastha. So what happens? Those who are in the mode of satvastha. Stha means situated. Situated in what? Sattva. Means the mode of goodness. What happens? Urdhvam gachanti. Urdhvam means up. They go up. So we talked about that they go to the higher planets, right? Depending upon the activity they have done. From bhu, that is from the earth, they go to bhuva, swa, mahar, whatever lok, depending upon their activity. Urdhvam is up. They go gachanti sattva. Madhye tishthanti rajasa. Rajasa means those who are in the mode of passion. All of them will stay in madhya, means on the earth. They will stay in the earthly planets. Jaganya guna. Jaganya guna means abominable activities. Those who have been doing abominable activities, ritastha, they will ardho. They will go down. Adho gachati tamasa. They will go down means they will go towards the hellish planets. They will go in the hellish planets and they'll have to suffer accordingly. So let us read the English translation. Those situated in the mode of goodness, gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Now in the 8th chapter, Krishna has spoken a verse, 16th verse, which says, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravrita Arjuna Mamu Petyatu Kaunteya Punarjanam Vidyate. He says, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka. Of all the, O Arjun, all the lok, till the lok of Brahma, all the 14 loks, till the lok of Brahma, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avritti Arjuna, they all will come again. The cycle of birth and death continues. Punar Avritti Arjuna, O Arjun, they will be bound on the cycle of birth and death. Mamu Petyatu Kaunteya, but O Kaunteya, those who achieve me, Mamu Petya, those who come to me, Punarjanmana Vidyate, they will not get the birth again. And so his world is the spiritual world, which is away from this material world. And in this material world, we have this 14 lok, where Patal lok is the lowest and Brahma lok is the highest. But all of them are a part of material world, where birth and death cycle continues. So we all should aim to transcend this all lok and go to the spiritual world, so that we can get free from the cycle of birth and death. So with this, we'll end today's class. Um, from next week, the class will be shifted to Saturday. From Sunday, we will not have classes on Sundays. We'll have class on Saturdays, same time. No change in time, but it will be Saturday, right? With this, we finish our class today. Let us read the Hare Krishna. Let's chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.